Okay, for this video, we're going to talk about bonds. Again, it's with a spreadsheet for you to be able to calculate the value of bonds, so you don't have to do the work on that. I think it's important to understand what it is you're doing. So for those that are unfamiliar with bonds, some important terminology to begin with. The coupon rate, or interest rate, they could call it too, is the rate that the bond actually pays. Okay, so if the face amount of the bond is $1 million and it pays 5%. Let's do the math here. $1 million that pays 5%. That's a coupon rate. Then it would pay $50,000 annually every single year. Okay, the coupon rate is an annual rate. You'll notice a lot of bonds pay semi-annually, which means twice a year, which means while $50,000 is what they would be paying, they would instead be paying $25,000 two times during the year rather than $50,000 all at once. So that's a coupon rate. The market rate is the going rate of interest that other bonds of similar risk and similar credit scores are selling for in the market, which often, depending on the length of time it takes you to issue the bond, can be different than what the market, what the coupon rate is, can be different than the market rate. Interest payments, the actual cash payments paid to bondholders, that's that $50,000 I was just talking about. If it was an annual amount, it would pay $50,000 annually, whether they pay twice a year, quarterly, however they do it. It's still going to be a total of $50,000 if that's the coupon rate and the face amount. The face amount is the principal. It's the issuance amount itself. It's also the amount that they will pay back at the end. When we're finding the present value here in a second, although the calculation will be done for you, effectively what we're finding is the present value of two things. We're finding the present value of the annual interest payments, as well as at the end of the bond, you pay a balloon payment of all of the bond back. So in this example here that I just made up, let's say it's a 10-year bond, we'd receive, depending if it's premium or discount, we'll talk about that in a second, we'd receive our money up front, $1 million or more or less, depending on the market rate. I would pay $50,000 every year for 10 years to the bondholders. And at the end of 10 years, I paid $1 million back. Okay, so that's the principal amount of the face amount. So what happens is when there's a difference between the market rate and the coupon rate, or the interest rate that the bond actually pays, there creates this difference in value. And this bond valuation worksheet, what it'll do for you is when you put all the information in, it will calculate the present value of both the interest payments as well as that balloon payment at the end, discounted back to present value based on the market rate of interest. So effectively, we take the market rate of interest and discount it back to what the present value is. And depending on whether one is higher or lower, that creates a premium or a discount. So for example, a premium is the bond value, I should say the bond selling price probably, bond selling price is higher than face value because the market rate is higher than the coupon rate. I'm sorry, the market rate is lower than the coupon rate. So think about a premium like this. If I'm selling bonds on the market and I'm paying 5%, and other bonds of similar risk, similar credit score, similar companies, all the things that go into play as far as risk, as far as purchasing bonds go, other companies are selling their bonds for 4% that are similar risk factors. People want my bond. Why? Because it pays higher interest than what the other bonds pay. Therefore, I can sell it for more than the face value. I can sell it for more than $1 million, and that's a premium. People are willing to pay extra because it is returning a higher interest rate than what the typical bonds are in the same category, the same risk category. Similarly, the other direction is that a discount where the bond value, again, I'll change that to selling price. It is the present value really, but I think it makes a little more sense to call it selling price, is lower than the face amount because the market rate is higher than the coupon rate. So same story, I'm selling these $1 million worth of bonds at a rate, interest rate of 5%, but other bonds of similar risk, similar size companies, and all the risk factors being equivalent, are paying 6%. Well, nobody wants my bond. Nobody wants to buy a bond that's only paying 5% when they could go buy a bond of similar risk at a rate of 6%. So what I have to do in order to sell that bond is I have to discount it. So I will receive less than, in this case, less than $1 million when I actually sell this bond. And then if the market rate equals the coupon rate, it's sold at neither a premium or a discount. So let's look first at the example I just gave. So $1 million worth of bonds, that would be the face value. Oops, we got a zero. $1 million worth of bonds. I said that my bonds were 10 years. And I said that 5% was my coupon rate. Okay, and let's say the market rate for similar bonds right now set it at 6%. So market rate of interest is 6%, coupon rate is 5%, term is 10, and this part, most bonds pay semi-annually, but you want to make sure and pay attention to whatever's a problem if you're working a problem, whatever it says. So I put this here as kind of a function for you to be able to say, okay, if it's annually, you would put 1. It's a number of payments per year. If it's annually, you put 1. If it's semi-annually, you put 2. If it's quarterly, you put 4. If it's monthly, although I haven't really seen those very often, but if it's monthly, you put 12. Okay, it's all about how many payments per year. So if this is an annual payment, then that's one payment per year. And notice my $1 million in bonds are going to be sold for $1 million. They're going to be sold for $926,399. Why? Because the market rate of interest is higher than my coupon rate, so I have to sell it at a discount. And effectively, what that discount does is it makes the bond, because I'm receiving less cash, it makes the bond return the market rate of interest. So effectively, now that bond, since I'm not selling it for $1 million, is returning 6%, which is a market rate, even though the coupon rate is only 5%, because I'm not receiving the full $1 million in cash. Notice it also automatically figures your interest payments. You shouldn't have to mess with that. Notice the interest payment is what we said it was going to be up here. Okay, so an example from the exam. This is number 12 on the exam. At least for me, it was number 12. I don't know if exams are different. So it says the acquired company planned to raise $10 million by issuing bonds on January 1st. The bond certificates were printed bearing an interest rate of 8%, so that would be the coupon rate, 8%. The face amount, we know too already. Face amount, maturity value, principal, they're all the same. I'm not sure what term they'll use, so you kind of put them all there, of $10 million. It was equal to the market, which was equal to the market rate of interest. However, before the bonds could be issued, economic conditions forced the market rate down to 6%. So now the market rate, when I'm actually issuing it, is 6%. The life of the bond is 10 years, paid annually, so that's once per year. And so because my market rate is lower than my interest rate, people want this bond. Okay, so this will be sold at a premium. I also created this field here, if you can see it, to automatically say whether it's a premium or a discount. This one we did before, it's being sold for less than $1 million, so it is being sold at a discount. This one is being sold for more than the face amount of $10 million, being sold for $11,472,000, is being sold at a premium. So that's the answer to that question. Just so you understand this maybe a little further, if market rate, so we've seen a discount, we've seen a premium, but what happens if market rate equals coupon rate? So let's just change the market rate on this one to equal the coupon rate. There would be no premium or discount, and it would sell for exactly the face value. Okay, so when market rate equals coupon rate or interest rate, then there is no premium or discount. And this should change whichever method or whichever one it is. It should tell you, give you the answers to what it is. And we'll stop there for bond valuation.